Everybody, welcome to Two Girls with Cancer podcast. I'm your host, Becky, and I am joined by, that's your cue,
Ashley.
Ashley, who completely missed the cue. And we are
I
joined
said
by
my
our
name.
friend, Brian Snow, who's dying of laughter over here. Brian,
I'm
good to
dying
see
to.
you.
It's good to see you guys. I'm dying of laughter because I've been there.
We like to do this very organically around
Mhm.
here. Not a
But I
lot
said
of
my
The
like,
name and I
most
think it just cuts out.
the
oh,
most organic thing is laughter. Especially, I do a radio show 5 days a week. The most organic thing is laughter.
hmm
30 years in, almost 30 years into broadcasting, I have missed maybe about 1,000 or 2,000 cues once upon a time. So I totally understand.
we do a lot of laughing on our show. If anyone's
hmm
watched it, especially the old man, the one that just came out. Ashley and I broke down. We had to go to a break. Like that's how bad we were
Yeah.
laughing.
Oh, been there.
Yeah. And unfortunately, when you're live, you don't really have the option for that. But we're live right now on Brian's shows, and we are not live right
hmm
now on our shows, or maybe we are. I actually have no idea. So we'll see. I guess we'll find out.
Improvisation is the greatest thing.
I agree. It's
Anybody who does podcasts know you can't always be you can't always be uniform. The best thing about podcasts are laughter. The second best thing is improvisation.
yes.
hmm
Just being ourselves and going with the flow. I think that's a good way to live in
hmm
podcasting and
It
otherwise.
really is.
Yeah.
So let's tell our audience here who you are, first of all, because we've had posted an interview that we've done with you, but if anyone hasn't seen that, they're probably wondering who the heck is this guy. So introduce yourself, let us know, your name, your age, where you're from, things like that.
I am Brian. I am originally from Chicago. I will turn 52 on Sunday.
Oh wow.
And
Exciting.
I've been married 5 years, been with Jody 6 years. There's kids all over the place. There's grandkids all over the place. There's a ton of laughter. And the thing that sits well with me is a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And when I met Jody, I wanted to do something different to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? I open my phone and I put it in my ear while I'm announcing a football game. And she heard me laugh. Well, she heard me do a play-by-play sequence. I heard her
hmm
giggle and laugh, and I was a goner. I was a flat out goner.
I love that so much. So I didn't realize you guys had only been together 6 years.
You think a lot of people think we've been together longer because of such the natural connection between Jody
Yeah,
and I. But man, when you know, you know.
that's
It's
true.
as simple as that.
That is
And
so true.
when my heart met Jody, that was that. And we still
hmm
get the comment to this day from a lot of people, including our family. You guys have only been together this long. You we thought you'd have been married longer.
Yeah.
I said, well, shucks, Jody gives me a lot of mess and I give her a lot of mess, but it's in fun. It's in good natured fun. And especially during hard times,
hmm
um, her thing to me, especially when I was in the hospital, is to find a way to make me laugh. Well, she knows I love dad jokes. And one of the trips I made to the hospital, yeah, you know what's coming. She found something on Facebook that had a whole list of dad jokes,
Oh.
and she read them all to me. And when the doctors came in, I was in a pool full of tears laughing. And then she posted some on her Facebook page, and she says, "Don't be surprised if these don't make it to Brian's show the next time he's on."
Was it that bad?
Well, one, they were that obvious, and two, I couldn't resist, so I put some of them on my show anyway.
That's hilarious. Oh, do you guys hear me echoing now?
Nah,
Yep.
you're fine.
Yep.
You
I
can
can
hear
hear
me
it on my
echoing
end.
now?
I
Well,
did there for
hopefully
a second.
live they can't hear it. Weird. So Brian, tell us a little bit about your show. So as you've mentioned, you are a podcaster. You have a show that you do 5 days a week. That's crazy. I can't even believe the commitment. Can you imagine, Ash?
Right?
I
Nope.
started Snowman. I started Snowman in the Morning back in 2013 off of a dare.
Oh
Someone
wow.
dared me to put my opinions out there. And this is after years of hosting a show at Chicago State University's radio and then other outlets. And I originally had an afternoon show that I did. And I only did that for a year because my thinking was I have better content and I could compete with the big boys in the morning. So I said the hell with it. And I launched um, September of 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And this September will mark our 11th year of
Wow.
doing Snowman in the Morning.
Mhm.
And it's basically a sports show. Sports is the crux of it, but there's a lot of other good stuff mixed in that has people, to borrow a phrase, in a fit of giggles.
Fit of giggles, nice.
That's perfect.
Well, I have a question for you. How do you have that much stuff to talk about for 5 days a week? Like Ashley and I have a lot of things to say, but there's also a lot of pre-planning
Yeah.
and research and stuff that go into a lot of the things that we want to talk about. And it's like if we had to do that 5 days a week, oh my gosh.
I
There's
have
a
had
lot of
strength to
research
do it 5 days a week.
Yep. It's a lot of research involved, and now I actually have a few team members that help with the planning and the research of the show,
Mm-hmm.
and we get an outline of what we want to talk about. But
Mm-hmm.
as I said, improvisation is king. So we
Mhm.
get there have been so many mornings we'll get into a subject and then it would just veer left immediately and we're all just walking away from our microphones laughing
That's
We get that.
because
Yeah.
We do that a lot.
one morning we were talking about my old partner Cole Johnson and I were talking about the Stanley Cup Finals,
Mm-hmm.
and Jody hadn't left for work yet, and Cole posed the question, who's going to win the Stanley Cup Finals? And
No,
before I could
Edmonton.
respond, my wife walks behind me and goes, "You know the answer is always the Colts, right?"
Mhm.
Both of
That's
us
not
were gone.
that's not even hockey. Even I know that.
But that's the beauty of it.
I love
That's
it.
the beauty of her, and that's the beauty of what we do, because we get back on track, yes, but one little interruption and we're off the rails.
Oh yeah.
And
Mhm.
it's so much fun to do. We want to bring we want to bring quality sports talk back to the landscape, but mixing a whole lot of other stuff with it. I have a very, very dear friend, Darian Hopkins, who I host an afternoon show with. And the first time I popped on with him, I wasn't even thinking about how I'm going to make him laugh. I already knew. The moment just had to come up when I was going to make him crack up laughing. He told me a story off the air about how I think it was his mom, watches Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy like my mother-in-law does.
As all of our
I
grandmas
just
do.
happen to have the
Yeah.
Jeopardy think music queued up and ready. And he posed a question and I hit that button and I thought he was going to fall out of his chair laughing.
I love it. I love the connection. I love how much fun you have. Like, so when we get into your story, I think people are going to really be blown away by how positive you are and how you can have so much fun, in your everyday life after finding out like what you've gone through and are currently going through.
Mhm.
You know, the positive attitude I had to get back to. Let me just
It takes
totally,
time. Takes
totally,
time.
totally say that aloud. I
Mm-hmm.
had to get back to me, to being positive, to being funny, to being an absolute nut
Mm-hmm.
around my family. It took me so long to get back to it, and I can honestly say it's taken me like to the last month to get back to it, because when you get, first of all, this all started when I had blood clots in both my lungs,
Wow.
and I'm laying on a table in a hospital in Durham, North Carolina, and wondering, how long is this going to take?
Mm-hmm.
And it took 2.5 hours for them to get all the major clots out of my lungs. And the only thing that saved me was a hockey game. Looking to my left, and they got
And you're
all
awake for
that done.
this?
The morning it happened, we were living in North Carolina. The morning it happened, I came out of the bathroom, and the next thing I know, I tumbled. I fell. I fell, and I was so disoriented that my daughter came running, and then my wife came running. By the time everything got situated, I was in the hospital, covered in a blanket, and I had this glassy look on my face. And with all that happening, I got airlifted. I had my first ever helicopter ride from Henderson, North Carolina to Durham, North Carolina, which was about 40 minutes away. Got into Duke University Hospital. They rushed me in, prepped me for surgery, and by that evening, most of the major blood clots were gone. That's only the tip of the iceberg, because a month later is when they found a mass on the left side of my abdomen. We were told that in the hospital. And the next thing I knew, a month later, after a biopsy, and anyone who's had a biopsy knows that's 20 minutes of the best sleep you'll ever have. So after the biopsy is when we got the ultimate sucker punch, and was told it was pancreatic cancer. So we were thrown in a bind, because I couldn't work. My wife was already working, as was my daughter, and we had to move from North Carolina back here to Indiana, where we are now, because we needed the emotional support from family. And that's
Right.
an episode in and of itself, so I'll save that one. We got back here to Indiana, and I was on chemotherapy. I was on chemotherapy. 2 weeks on with the pills, which fogged my brain out badly, and then 2 weeks off, which kind of messed me up, because one moment I felt okay, I'm getting back to being myself, and just about when I was right there at the finish line, getting back to being myself, I had to go back on the pills. So November of 2021 is when we drove from Indiana down to North Carolina, and that's when we were given basically a concession speech by the doctor after an exam, when Jody was told not Jody was told to get your affairs in order, which shocked the daylights out of me. And I
Yeah.
was in my fog. I was in Oh man, I was in a terrible fog, because I didn't know what was going on. Jody, bless her loving heart, said no. And when I finally came back around, when they came back around, and when I came back around, I beg your pardon, and figured out what was going on, I launched myself into the fight. My wife had to take care of business with uh getting situated with work, and
Mm-hmm.
getting insurance, and everything of that nature. Me, all I'm trying to do is just go through day after day, day after day after day. I wake up, I do my show, and I go back to bed, because anyone who has had a cancerous tumor, the thing has a tendency to what? Flame up, or flare up, and it was bad.
Yeah, good
There were
days and
some
bad days.
mornings. There were some mornings it was so bad I didn't want to get out of bed,
Mm.
and I literally did the show in bed.
Wow.
But
That is commitment. Wow.
it's I. But there came a time where I had to stop. There came a time where I had to stop, and I had to think, okay, this is not good. This is not good for me, because I'm not going to have the strength I need
Mm-hmm.
to get everything. I'm not going to have the strength I need to get everything together that I need to. But I said the heck with it. But when you're told that you're going to die, your
Mhm.
brain is in scramble mode. You're the matter of fact, your brain is out of your body and you're going, what?
Mhm.
Then it took Jody calming me down and said, no, you're not going anywhere.
Mhm.
Well, that's when I got introduced uh, 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 2022 when I got introduced to my oncologist. I was told there was a way we can beat this. And my oncologist said, let me make a phone call and see if I can get in touch with a friend of mine. And that friend of mine turned into the fellow who saved my life,
Wow.
Antilla Nakib at Indiana University Med Center. And word not for him and the confidence he showed and my wife and my children, I wouldn't be here. Simply
Wow.
put, I would not be here were it not for them, were it not for Jody saying, you know, this is going to happen.
Mhm.
This is going this is going to happen. I had the surgery April 4th of 2022
Mhm.
and it took longer than expected. It's only supposed to be like a 3 hour surgery and it turned into a 5.5 hour surgery.
Wow.
But they brought me in the ICU. I saw my in-laws and I saw my wife and my brain said, we're good. We're going to get through this.
Wow.
The
Mhm.
toughest part, well, one thereof, was getting my physical strength back. And I'm not all the way back yet. I'm not all the way back yet because I had um, two other things happen. I had a problem with my kidney, and I also lost my right big toe to amputation.
Oh
So I've
wow.
been stuck in a wheelchair until very, very, very recently. But then
Mhm.
other problems with my body that came from the surgery. I couldn't stay off the toilet
I feel
to
that.
save
I
my life. I
feel
couldn't
that
stay.
deep.
I literally
Mhm.
was told by Jody, if you have to go, see if you can like lay next to the bathroom just in case, because there will be times where you're not going to make it,
Mhm.
and I'm going to need help cleaning up the mess. So literally for about a month, most nights I'd sleep next to the bathroom. But that has since gotten a lot better,
Mhm.
gotten a lot better medicine to deal with it.
Mhm.
I've had to change a lot of the parts of my diet because I don't
Yeah.
have the organs anymore.
Yeah. Was that a chemo side effect, do you think, the running to the toilet?
I don't know.
Because it was for me. I actually got colitis, a chemo induced colitis, when I was on it. And
Hmm.
it was bad and it was painful. And I dropped about 15 pounds in my first round. My rounds were every 3 weeks. I
Hmm.
dropped 15 pounds pretty quickly. And I mean, which I thought was awesome, but the oncology team did not think it was awesome. They're like,
Right.
what's wrong? And they kept saying to me, you need to take Imodium or like a
Hmm.
diarrhea
Hmm.
dry your upper. And I thought,
Yep.
but then I'm going to be constipated. Like, what is there? I'm still going to have the stomach upset and the bowel upset, but I'm not going to be able to get it out. Like, that sounds terrible. And they kept pushing every time I'd see them,
Mhm.
you need to be taking Imodium. And I said, no, like, I'd rather get it out of me and it be sore than
Mhm.
holding it in and be sore. I don't know what the
Well,
'Cause
right
it's all
answer is for that,
toxins,
but it
ain't
I
definitely was
don't.
chemo.
No,
Yeah,
they don't tell you what the right answer is because they
there
themselves
is
don't know
no
what the
right
right
answer.
exactly. There's no right
Mhm.
answer.
Yeah.
And the clue that I got that I was still not in shape, I got invited by University of North Carolina Greensboro to announce a baseball game for them remotely,
Oh, wow.
and they changed the start time. And by the time we got to the fourth inning, I crashed.
Mm.
my bowels and my belly crashed, and I mean bad, to the point where I was in pain.
Mm-hmm.
I went um I went I went to the bathroom, and then I turned everything off in my office, and I laid down and I was crying. I was crying. I was in horrible pain.
Mm-hmm.
Um I haven't done games consistently since then because
Mm-hmm.
of that.
Yeah.
And then early 2023, I was at a basketball doubleheader, and I got through the women's game with no problem. But halfway through the men's game, my body gave out again. That was the most intense pain I ever felt in my life,
Mm-hmm.
when my body just gave out,
Mm-hmm.
and um I couldn't continue. And it really made me question, would I ever be able to do games again? Would I
Mm-hmm.
ever be able to get behind the microphone again?
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to me that this is already post chemo, post surgery. Had you been declared cancer free at this point, or yeah?
February last year, we went into we went in for our checkup, because
Mm-hmm.
like every 6 months to a year I have MRIs, which was spaced out
Mm-hmm.
from every 3 months. And then February last year, we went into our oncologist. And I say our because were it not for Jody, I wouldn't have an oncologist or the team of doctors that I have right now. And we told him, well, Jody told him, we are waiting till the anniversary day, which would have been April 4th, 2023, a year out from the
Mm-hmm.
surgery, to find out if we were in remission or not. And his next sentence to me sent me jumping up and down like a 6-year-old kid, when he said, the remission's already begun.
Praise the Lord.
Wow.
That's
And
amazing.
we looked at
Right?
him and went, we looked at him and went, what? And he says, yeah, the remission's already begun.
Wow.
That's
Now,
amazing.
I can't dance to save my life, but I swear to you, I was dancing out of the office into the car when we got that piece of
Oh
news.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just, while you were talking here, I just started to look up what is the difference between remission or NED, no evidence of disease, or cancer free. So I'll just read a little bit here. So, like I said, no evidence of disease is called NED. And it says a lot of people use the terms synonymously, but remission and NED are probably the closest by definition. Officially, both mean that no cancer is currently detectable in the body. That may be based on scans or blood work or whatever else, right? Cancer free is a little more complicated because it's not based on something we can measure. Instead, it implies that not only is there nothing detectable in your body as cancer, but we also believe no residual cancer is left anywhere. So there's no chance of cancer ever coming back. And that's a lot trickier to say because there's always the very slight chance or risk of recurrence.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, like, how do doctors determine which term to use? Because I've always wondered this because
Yeah.
I've just been telling people I'm cancer free, but like I've never really thought about the chance of there being cancer in other places that they've never
Mm-hmm.
looked, right? I've never had a
Hmm.
PET scan.
Hmm.
But it says it's really based on the doctor and what they feel comfortable with. This particular doctor tends to use remission and NED the most. And I'm getting this from the MD Anderson Cancer Center website. So, yeah, I had no idea. So, Ashley, like, ooh, sorry, based on what you've got going on, where do you think you fall into that remission NED? Probably NED, hey?
Yeah. Yeah. Every time
They're we can't
I get
use the
checked,
form
my wife
remission.
my wife always tells the doctors, make sure to check for the cancer markers.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what that was until I dove into my research and looked it up. And I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad she says that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad she says that, because I wouldn't think to realize there were more markers there.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't
I
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't think that at all.
I know when I went to Mexico for treatment, they did very thorough blood tests on me, and one of them was called, actually, a couple of them were called cancer marker tests. So for
Hmm.
breast cancer, these are, I think it's called a CA 97.3 and a CA 15.5, I want to say. And I'd never heard of those in Canada. No one ever suggested that to me. And
Mm-hmm.
it
Right.
basically, it looks at the basically the amount of cancer cells that you have in your body. Now, when I went back the second time, I was thinking I was in like such a good place and I was going to have an even lower score, because when I got there, it was in the it wasn't crazy high, but it was in like the cancerous level. And then by
Hmm.
the end of my 4 week treatment, it had dropped down below the cancer level. So I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm out of the woods. And then when I went back a couple weeks or 6 weeks later, it had jumped up even higher than the first time when I was there. And I thought, what the heck? And they said to me that it's also detecting not just active cancer cells, but dead cancer cells. So
Ah.
you could have had lots of cancer die off inside of your body, but it's still picking that up. So
Mm.
that was, a little discouraging. But either way, I thought, why the heck don't we have a diagnostic tool like that in Canada? Because I sure as crap, I guess why I have never had anyone offer that to me here in Canada. And even like as
Well,
a pre-screening tool for people, like knowing that you fall on that whatever the scale of what's normal range and what's above and what's a cancer risk or what could possibly even have cancer, like why is that not given to
Right.
everybody as part of like a yearly physical?
Hmm.
I actually asked for that, and they said that they can't test me with the form of cancer that I have on a blood on a blood test. So who knows?
Well,
Oh man.
I mean,
Don't know.
like I don't understand like why are number one, why they're not doing the same research on neuroendocrine cancer, and number two, like why Canada is so far behind in our cancer advancements. Really, like there are things that we can do, but when I was researching places to go, I looked at a lot of places in the States and in Mexico, and they could all do things that um, no one else in Canada was offering.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Strange. Just strange how medicine catches up one place and then it doesn't in another place.
mhm.
That's
You would
strange.
think that
That's
they would all stick to the same stuff, right?
Yeah, you would think. You
Mm-hmm.
would think.
Yeah. I just wanted to take an aside here and just pop into our comments here. So, the nice thing
Mm-hmm.
about having a stream like this is that it's live and people can comment live. There's a
Hmm.
person that keeps commenting on our YouTube, Facebook,
Hmm.
My
Instagram,
Facebook
everywhere,
and
blowing up
harassing me.
Ashley, harassing
Yeah,
her to the point where it's
yeah.
like
And I
screenshots
don't like these. I
being
don't
sent.
like these comments because they don't
You
know
know, and
who's
it's
been through
the
what.
thing is, the thing is, I don't even know this guy. I've met him
Hmm.
once. Um, I was in the heat of my cancer, and
Hmm.
he dated one of my girlfriends, and I don't know their relationship. I don't even know anything about it. And for some reason, now because we've started this, he wants to attack me. You know, she has a restraining order on him, and because he did
Good.
a lot of things to her, but it's like now he wants to attack me, and I have no no part of any of it. You know, it's
Hmm.
crazy.
And
Hmm.
the fact that
He
there's
won't stop.
That's
multiple.
crazy. That's crazy that they want to attack
He's
you for something you had
Yeah, but
nothing to
I
do with.
wasn't even a part of it. Now he's got 3 different accounts on in our comments. Like, I don't know if
Well,
the
I
police
Oh
can do
brother.
anything, but I think I'm gonna
I
go to them because I'm
I
done.
like this one. These girls aren't good people. May karma keep getting them. They use people and sniff powder. First of all, sir,
Yeah.
what anyone has done in
Right?
their past, whatever. I've never even seen cocaine. Okay, so I certainly you have no idea what you're talking about. I
Right?
know I'm
Yeah,
not the
man.
person that you're mad at here, but like get a freaking life. People have restraining orders against you. Like
Yeah.
get a life. Like do not comment here again. You're
It's
being
getting
blocked on
bad.
everything.
You
You will
know, and
continue to be blocked on
you know what
everything.
makes it so bad? People are not seeing me because my background crashed, but they will hear me. You know what makes us when you get good news in your life, people want to tear it down. Why?
Mhm.
Why do people want
People
it's
hate themselves.
just because it happens to me a lot.
Mhm.
It happens to me. There was a fellow who I thought would be a friend. Huh? Wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because someone clued me in on how he operates,
Mm-hmm.
and I cut ties with him. He didn't like that. Oh well.
It's
I just know what's
crazy.
good for me and what's good for my business and what's good for my family.
It's wild how people react when someone is sick and when someone's getting good news. Like I've actually reached out to a few people that I used to be, acquaintances with or friends with, and I've had a lot of people now say, "I'm really sorry that I wasn't there for you when you were sick. I didn't know what to say." And it's
Hmm.
like Ashley and I have talked about this a lot, and it's like you didn't have to say anything. You just had to be there. Like you just have to say
Mhm.
hi.
Exactly. This
And the
the
thing
same.
is, like, don't stop. Even though we're out of the crazy parts in our life, we still struggle with everything. you
Hmm.
know
Mm-hmm.
and I find
Yep.
that a lot of people just back away.
Hmm. You know why they back away? Because they become scared.
Mm-hmm.
For some crazy reason, they become very scared.
I don't understand. I guess because I'm not that type of person. Like I'm pretty bold no matter what. But I don't know. I think I I don't know
You
if I would
know,
ever
and
leave a person in their time of need. I don't know.
reading this comment up here, your people your people rip me off. I had the same kind of guy
I
call
don't
me a
even know what
ripoff.
he's talking about.
And
Like, what
actually,
money?
you want to hear something? You want to hear something funny? The same kind of fellow that's trying to get after me told me, I swear to you, he said to me, and I quote, "You don't even have cancer, so stop conning people."
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was told also, that I was a con artist and I didn't have stage 4
Hmm.
cancer, and I had to post on our platform to prove it. Not that I had to, but I'm so tired of people like this guy. I'm done with, and I hope something karma comes his way, because this is awful. Like, to attack
He'll
somebody,
get
especially with
his.
what I've gone through in my life, and for this guy to
Hmm.
keep going. I don't even know him, and like,
He'll get his, just as the haters
I'm
on my
starting to
side
get
will get
angry.
theirs. I
It's
don't
So
getting
sad.
cool
I don't
because
blame you.
here's the thing, like this podcast, Ashley and I started in a place of like, number one, we're terrified for our lives. Number two, we've
Hmm.
been through an ordeal that a lot of people our age, our friends, people in our family have not gone through. And we needed an outlet to
Right.
be able to
Mhm.
discuss it and just, like we're both, I don't want to say success stories, but yeah, in a way we are because we're still here after
Mhm.
stage 3 and stage 4.
You
We're very
beat
All
aggressive
three of
people.
us have success
cancer.
stories.
You
Yeah,
beat stage
absolutely.
3 and stage 4. I kicked
Yeah.
stage 4 pancreatic cancer in the
Yeah.
ass. And
Right?
Yeah.
pancreatic cancer is stage 4 pancreatic cancer, as I was told by Jody and quite a few other people that did the research for me. I'm not supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mhm.
supposed to be in a
Mm-hmm.
box.
Yeah, no, pancreatic cancer is an aggressive one.
Right?
I'm actually shocked that, not shocked, but like, you hear about people with pancreatic cancer, they don't come through it. So,
No.
like, the fact that you're alive and well, and you're as positive and as strong as you are, yeah, there's a lot of things that you still need to do to get through this, right? Like to
Hmm.
regain your strength and a lot of dark times mentally, but like, man, you've come through one of the most scary forms of cancer, in my
It
opinion.
is scary.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It is scary when people are telling you one thing and you believe another, and you lean on the people that are telling you all the positives. For me, it was Jody, it was Cheyenne, it was Sonia, it
Hmm.
was Dakota, and it was Sam, and it was all my grandchildren.
Hmm.
My niece, when in 21, when I was not knowing what to do after we got the sucker punch saying go ahead and get your affairs in order. When Jody was told get your affairs in order, my little niece wrote me a card and said, "Don't give up."
Oh, I love that. Sometimes it's all it takes, eh? It's
It
just
is.
the faith, man, the faith of a child. I wish we had that.
Listen, the faith of family, the
Mhm.
true faith of family,
Yeah.
you ain't changing that for anybody.
Hmm. Hmm.
You don't want to change that for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could be told one thing, but you believe something totally positive and totally different because, hey, I got through this, I can get through anything else. And that's how I'm feeling. And I know that's how you guys are feeling. So to see
Mm-hmm.
some of these that are appearing right now speaks two things to me. One, jealousy, because you did get through it, because you did come through it. And secondly, what it also speaks to me is fear. Fear that you're going to
Mm-hmm.
keep being around and keep kicking ass and keep exposing people like this that don't know what they're talking about, what they're doing, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like as
Some
I
people are
was
just crazy.
well, I was just saying before, like this, it doesn't matter what you've done in your past. Yeah, like we've all
Mm-hmm.
done stuff that we are not proud of and we are ashamed
Mm-hmm.
of, and sorry to anybody that we've hurt along the way, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
cancer changes you in a way that nobody can really understand unless they've been in that
Oh yeah.
situation. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like I thought I had my life together and I was all stable and everything
Same.
now that I'm going through it or
Mm-hmm.
have gone through it, man, so much stuff is coming out that I've buried so deep inside of me, and feelings that I'd never felt before, and shame that I've never
Mm-hmm.
had before, and guilt for my actions are coming out. And it's like, man, like I thought I was a
Mm-hmm.
good person before, but like,
Mm-hmm.
and I was, because
Yep.
everyone's a good person. I think like we're born good people. We just make bad choices. But
Mm-hmm.
I just think like,
Lord knows I've made my share of
oh
bad
yes,
choices.
But at the
we
end of
all
the
have.
day, it's nobody's business or nobody's there to judge everyone, and it's so sad that there's people out there like that,
Mm-hmm.
like someone that I don't even know either. I've only met once,
And they want
but
to do
you
that
think
to
at
you.
this point these people must have some mental problems, or like they must not, if you can't let things go, or I don't know, it's just sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I commented on one of our posts before and I said, I'm sorry that you're mad about something that happened. Whether or not Ashley was involved, I don't know. I don't know the details, right? But like,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
friend, forgive and move on because you are holding on to something that is like a speck of your life. I'm sorry your
Mm-hmm.
mom passed away. I'm sorry you got cheated on. I'm sorry
Mm-hmm.
that Ashley knew the girl that cheated on you. I'm sorry that all those things happened.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? You're standing here commenting on a podcast right now with three people who have been through stage 3 and stage 4 cancer and like almost died and are scared of their life every single
Yeah.
day. So it's like nobody has time for your bullshit. Okay, bye.
Right.
Period.
Like this podcast
Period.
was, we were so
The,
excited
the,
for
the
that, and then
ta-
he had to come in and put his negative energy in.
you know what?
That's
It
sad.
exposes him, not us.
Oh my
Oh,
god, he's still
paying my
going.
money.
He's still going.
What money?
Why are
Like,
we?
oh my god.
Well, let me put it in this. Let me put it in a form of a question. Why are we surprised
Oh my god.
when people want to ruin positive energy?
I don't know, because some people suck.
People want to ruin. People want to ruin
Because
positive
they're not happy in their
energy
own
all the
lives.
time. Bingo.
This blows my mind.
It's crazy.
Here's the
It's
thing though,
it's
It is
like
crazy.
crazy.
having experienced what we've all experienced, like we're still choosing to be happy in our
Mm-hmm.
lives, like we're still going through a lot mentally, but like we're all choosing to get up every day and be happy. And like we've all had messed up stuff happen to us.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely, we have.
last chance to pay me the
Absolutely, we
money I've
have.
been ripped off for. Okay, you
What?
spit
And
and
that's
What
on and
insult
that's
money?
my
on
Oh
and
my
that's
bedroom.
god.
on him.
I'm just gonna go to
That's
the police after this because I don't know if they can do
good.
anything, but I'm just tired of
Look,
this.
I didn't think anything would be able to happen when I got the same kind of harassment. And yes, I'm going to use a word that this person probably doesn't understand nor will understand. It's harassment. It's
It
harassment.
is harassment. This
Doesn't
is
matter if
harassment. It's
it's cyber
constant.
It is
harassment. It
harassment,
it
but
doesn't matter if it's
it's been going
physical,
on for a
mental,
while.
emotional, or cyber harassment. It's harassment.
Yep, it is.
It is.
No,
It's
Of
it's
course it is. And
harassment.
it's
Deal
it's
with it.
on
I
all
mean,
platforms. It blows my mind. And then we'll block him and then he will
good.
make new
create new
accounts.
accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
it's blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yours and
God.
mine both, because the same, like I said, the same kind of fella I've had to deal with here in Indiana would make different accounts and and do the same
Mhm.
thing. And I
I
told him, I flat out told him, look, you can't say nothing that'll piss me off. You come after my family, however, all bets are off.
mhm.
Because he had the nerve to say something about my family. He had the nerve to say something about my daughter
Wow.
who passed away
Mhm.
at age 2. He had the nerve to say that wasn't your daughter anyway, and she's alive and living somewhere else. Really?
Mhm.
Mhm.
You're going to say that to a father who's grieving?
Mhm.
Right.
That's awful. Absolutely awful. Well, I
It's
see
so
so
sad
many
how
RC,
here.
thank,
people are.
RC, thank you for the kind words, because
Yes.
the grind doesn't stop with any of us.
Yeah, I posted it here. Keep
No.
grinding, stay strong, keep pushing. You serve a delightful purpose. Yes, I love that. Your spirits shine brighter than how you feel day to day. By the way, Snowman is an awesome fella. Yes, we absolutely know that, RC. We have learned that in our time together. You know, we've been chatting on and off for the last, what, 2 months probably, Brian?
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. Well, okay, so I did have some more questions here before we so rudely got interrupted, but you know what? I'm not going to let this
Mm.
guy ruin our podcast or ruin our
It's
time.
there's a purpose that we have, and we're going to continue to serve it, whether these haters like
Mhm.
it or not.
Totally. So I want to know how being sick has impacted your family. So we know you have a wife, we know you have children. I don't know if you have parents anymore, but like tell me how it's impacted them.
I lost both my parents to cancer.
Oh, jeez.
I
Mm.
lost my dad in 2007 to prostate cancer. In 2021, I lost my mom to colon cancer.
Hmm. So
It's the
sorry.
most unfair thing to lose the people that shaped you
Mm-hmm.
and help you become who you are.
Hear that.
I draw from my wife and my children so much,
Mhm.
because if I didn't have them, I can honestly say I wouldn't be here,
Mhm.
because everyone that goes through cancer needs that small group that would that is there for you and continues to fight for you no matter what, which makes you fight for them in return.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
When my wife said to me one day when I was weaker than a kitten, she says, I feel like you've given up, that turned the light on for me.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mhm.
even though she did say that to me, A, it needed to be said, and B, it reinforced how strong she is, and C, how strong our bond is.
Yeah,
Just
I get.
leaning on that alone, leaning on what I do and what else needs to get done, that all that keeps me going.
Mhm.
All of that keeps me going.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like
It's
you,
so
you
important to
know,
have that support around you.
yeah, it sounds like you have an amazing
Mhm.
wife, an amazing
Yeah.
support system. And I mean, look at these people who are on here commenting praises
Mhm.
for you. Like you are well loved, even
Yeah.
if it's people you've never met. And Brian,
Mhm.
you are so well loved, and I'm sure people are praying for you all
Mhm.
the time. And yeah, you've been favored and blessed highly in this journey.
Mhm.
I believe that.
Mhm.
It's been To say it's been a journey would be an understatement.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I've often said it's a
Mhm.
climb and a half.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's a climb and a half up that mountain. And sometimes you got to climb up that mountain several times to get
Mhm.
there.
Hmm.
You got to climb up that mountain several times to get there. But once you get there, nobody can stop you.
Hmm.
That's
That's
right.
how I'm looking at it. No one can stop you. You're supposed to climb this mountain for a reason.
Hmm.
I
Mhm.
watched Super Bowl 35 with the Ravens and the New York Giants, and I heard Ray Lewis say something that is resonating with me when he kept telling his teammates, "We're in the Super Bowl for a reason. Well, we're on this path for a reason."
Hmm.
Several of them.
Yeah.
Several of them.
I always wondered through this journey, like when people say, everything happens for a reason or there's a purpose, this and that, if you're a God fearing person, like God has a plan for you. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, what is it? Can someone
Exactly.
please tell me what my plan is? Because, but like, I had to lose a boob and my hair and a lot of friends and my job and my health and everything else because of that. I'm still trying to figure it out, but
I think we
maybe
all are.
it's
I
to
think
like
we
bring
all are.
Yeah, we
awareness
definitely
to
are.
people.
We all are trying to figure it out.
Hmm.
And every day you get a
Yeah.
chance to figure it out is even better.
Hmm. Yeah, every day really does need to be, this is cliche, but like a gift. And quite often I go back and forth where I'm like, I'm mad or I'm hard on myself because it's like, what have I done over the last year and a half? Like, did I exercise? Did I start eating really great? Like, and as I'm reverting back into kind of my old ways, I keep getting totally convicted by it. Like, you have another chance at life. Every day is a brand new day to be better. And it's like, yeah,
There
it
is.
motivates me to make better choices because it's easy to be the way that we were. It's comfortable, but the fact of the matter is, your body got sick the way that you were.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that anyone did anything. None of us did anything to cause it
Right.
per se, but we are the owners of our bodies. And if we had something come in, if we had trauma come in, if we had whatever come in, and we never dealt with it, I mean, that's kind of on us.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I'm feeling. I took a course the other day online, and the lady said in it that a lot of times, more often than not, the people who get sick with cancer are ones
Mhm.
who were very selfless and put others first and always
I agree.
took care of everybody. And I don't know if that's true for you, Brian, but I know Ashley and I are both
Oh,
like
it's
that,
so true.
very mothering
Yeah.
and
It's so true. Not just for
prioritize
me,
everyone else.
not just for me, but
Yeah.
for my bride.
Hmm.
Seeing the exhaustion on her face every day when she comes in from work, putting in the time that she put in, and me physically feeling so helpless.
Hmm.
You know what finally began to crack that ceiling? Realizing I can do something, even if it's not going out and working every day, if it's just straightening up a room here around the house.
Hmm.
So she doesn't have to. That's the deal. That's the deal that she put together.
Hmm.
That's the deal that we put together, I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
And now I'm finally getting back to it. That's a lot of people don't get. When you're finally getting back to being yourself, it's the most dangerous thing for people that want to see you fail.
Yeah, hey.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like I've had this chat with my insurance company multiple times. They want me to get back to work because according to them, I've been cancer free for X amount of months. But it's like, to be responsible right now for somebody's business, for money, for transactions, for timelines, for
Hmm.
deadlines.
Hmm.
When like I quite often can't even remember why I went into a room, you know,
Yeah.
like when I can't, like lately, man, the brain fog has been back again. And it's funny, I actually later on today I've got a call um, for a brain fog study. I'm joining whatever resource I can to try and help get better. But it's like, I to be responsible for something else right now, man, that is a lot of pressure
Yeah,
and
it
it is
is.
scary. And like, I've always held myself to a very high standard when it comes to work. I like to do the best job ever. I always have something to prove, and it's like I'm gonna go back at I doubt even 50% of capacity of what I used to be, and it's
Hmm.
like I'm now maybe if I was held in this regard, I'm now down here, and it's like, well, how do you not fire someone who's doing 50% of the job that they're supposed to?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
I'm training for a job right now, which I
okay.
know is what I have to do
Hmm.
to keep things keep things floating along here. But
Hmm.
I think my wife knows me
Mm-hmm.
well enough to know that I'm trying to make this microphone monetized and really
Yeah, of
pay off
course.
because
Mm-hmm.
it's what She knows of me. It's what she loves about me. It's one of the biggest things that she loves
Mhm.
about me, especially when she gets a chance to mess with me and come behind me and say some crazy, stupid things that'll have me in a fit of giggles. But hey, this is us. This is what this
Yeah.
this is what we do, and this is what a lot of people who a lot of people who don't go through cancer. God bless you. You don't want this fight unless you're strong enough to get to
Mhm.
it and through it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The second thing is when you're in the midst of it, you rely on everything positive that you possibly can
Mhm.
to get you through it.
That's so true.
And
Mhm.
it's taken a lot to say the least. It's taken a lot.
Mhm. It's not
Yeah.
an
I
easy
think
journey.
people, no, it's not.
Mm-mm.
And I think a lot of people probably tune into even your show too, Brian, and tune into our show and see people who look okay behind a ring light and with a screen behind them or
Make
whatever, and we're
Yep.
chatting and we're talking, but like how many times, Ash, do you have to leave the podcast and go sleep? Like you're
yeah,
exhausted.
a lot.
Brian, you were saying like you
I'm
would
always
sometimes have
tired.
to do it from
I'd
bed because you were
I'd
so
go
tired.
I'd go to bed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'd go right
I
back to
know.
bed. But I'd have to make sure my phone's on in case my wife calls and she needs
Mhm.
something.
Right.
I said this even on the podcast I just launched, Diary of a Mad Snowman.
Hmm.
There are two things you can take away from a man to really hurt him. Neither one is money.
Oh,
Take
really?
away his family
Mm.
or take away the ability for him to provide for his
To
family.
make money. Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna ask you about that. Like, tell me about this because you've been a husband. You're probably always had it in your mind, to be a breadwinner, especially because you're what 51 years old. You were
Yep.
raised with that mentality, right? That
Hmm.
the man is the husband is the breadwinner. What has that done to you mentally, emotionally,
Mhm.
physically, knowing
It's
that
a
your wife is
royal
the
pain
person?
in all three phases. It's a royal freeloading pain in the ass
Mhm.
Mm.
that the
It's hard.
suffering continues even when you're trying to get back on your feet. Even when you are trying like hell to get
Mhm.
back on your feet, even when you think, okay, this is going to do it, and there are people, let me say it plainly. The insurance folks want you to think, okay, since you got through cancer, you can just simply go back to work when they don't seem to realize your body just got their ass kicked.
Yeah, right.
Right? And you still need to recover.
Exactly.
Yes.
Mhm.
3 years I've been in
Yeah.
well, 2 years since surgery. I've been in recovery.
Hmm.
And plus all the other stuff that's happened to me that's had me in a wheelchair until recently, and I'm getting up and I'm getting my legs back. And my daughter said something to me that like really hit home when she asked me, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm trying to find a job." She immediately froze and looked at me and said, "Why are you trying to work?" And I went,
Because I
"Huh?"
have to.
I said, "This is
Mhm.
something I need to do."
Hmm.
And they go, "Do they not realize what you've been through?" According to the state of Indiana, especially a man, no. It's pretty simple.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what you go through physically, mentally, or emotionally. You're a man. You're supposed to go back to work.
I hate that.
And all I
I
can
hate
think of
it so
is,
much.
really? You're gonna go there, and you don't know, people that have not been through the fight when it comes to cancer. People do
Hmm.
not understand what kind of fight it is.
Yeah,
It's a fight and a half.
really.
And
Brian,
And you still
I know
fight
that
every day.
yeah,
mhm,
every day is a fight, yes.
yes,
I know that Ashley and I were both blessed with GoFundMe set up by our friends. Like, I mean, it wasn't enough to like live off of forever by any means, but for me, it was able to, you know, get me through the first parts of my treatment. So I know that you have a GoFundMe, and I think you have a Cash App and a PayPal.
mhm,
And I honestly, like, if anyone's listening here, you don't understand like what your gift does. Like it was like when I saw
Mhm.
people donating, every day I would just cry because it was like I didn't know that you cared that much, that you would help get me through treatment or help me now that I'm not working or whatever. And I was a proud person, like having someone else's money.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard for me to accept. Like I didn't set up my GoFundMe, my friends did, and I had a hard time accepting that. But I also knew that I was like desperate. So I just encourage anybody who's listening to this, please like help Brian because he doesn't get paid for what he does, and we're in Canada, so we're lucky that majority of our healthcare is paid for. But in the states, like
In the
everything that
Right.
he's
states, it's
gone
all
through,
in the states. It's awful.
everything he's gone through has been out of pocket
I'm
here. There's
I'm
pressure on
not
his
even
family.
supposed to be here. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm surviving by donations, and I have been for about a year and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
When a man is told after what I've been through and what other male cancer patients have been through, you're fine, just go back to work. What?
No.
Right.
And you just want to yell at the top of your lungs, look, my body just got its ass kicked by cancer, and I fought back,
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
but I'm not well.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think
So
that's
if
the hardest
anyone,
thing for me is people always saying or telling you how you're supposed to feel, whether that's doctors, the medical therapists. It's like
Hmm.
nobody really knows what you're going through, and it's unfair of people to make
mm-hmm,
calls on your behalf, you know?
mm-hmm, yep,
And
100%.
and they they don't understand
They don't.
and never
And
will
they never will
understand.
until they go through it.
Hmm. Until it hits them, they won't get it.
Hmm.
No.
Yeah.
Until it
It
hits
has to hit
their
them
family,
personally.
it
Yeah.
has to hit them personally. It's always hit me personally because I saw
Hmm.
my dad go through it for 15
Yeah.
years until I lost him in 2007. And then on top of that, I lost my daughter 8 years later, and then I lost my mother.
Awful.
Right? Oh,
The
I'm so sorry.
depression,
It's so hard.
listen, the depression is real, folks.
Hmm.
When it comes to cancer, the depression is very real because you don't know
Hmm.
you just simply don't know how you're going to get through it. Your emotions are wrung out
Hmm.
to dry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're wrung out to dry. And my wife gave me the idea of the GoFundMe that y'all see on your screen
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a sports nerd, I'm a sports fanatic, but I want to use it not just to see every stadium that I can lay my eyes on, but also to show people what it's like to go through cancer, beat it,
Hmm.
and then pay it forward. One of my ways of paying it forward is to just talk to people, turn this into a tour,
Mm-hmm.
turn this into a
Hmm.
tour and talk to people and just make it my own.
Hmm.
It's my part of therapy,
Mm-hmm.
telling my
Hmm.
story. You can only
Hmm.
do so much behind a microphone, but in front of people, it's even more
Absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow. It's so healing to be able to talk about it and get it out. And I know that your podcast is about sports. Like Ashley and I, we are able to release and talk to people and get it
Hmm.
off of our chest. But like, I'm sure it comes up on your podcast for sure, but like that's not the main focus, right? Cancer's not the
Right.
main focus.
Hmm.
So,
It's
you know,
not.
to be able to let it out is so healing.
Hmm.
This is part of the
You
reason
have
I
to have the
started
outlet.
Diary of this is part of the reason I started Diary of a Mad Snowman to let a
Mm-hmm.
lot of feelings I had repressed out
Mm-hmm.
that I
Mm-hmm.
can't
Hmm.
let out during the morning show.
Yeah, of course.
There's
Hmm.
just simply not enough time.
Yeah.
And B, it's a it's a platform separate from what people know me as so they can see the entire picture.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And when I found
Hmm.
out about you guys' podcast, hopped right on in a hurry
You
and
did.
subscribed and supported like
Hmm.
within 5 minutes of finding out.
Thank you for
Because
that.
these are stories that need to be collected and told, not just
Mm-hmm.
collected, but told.
Yeah.
They
Hmm.
need to be collected and told. And if people think, oh, you're just doing this to me, you don't understand why we're doing this. And you never
Hmm.
will understand why we're doing this.
Yeah.
The biggest reason we're doing this There's a story to be. There are many stories to be told. Many of them.
Mm-hmm.
And cancer is such a lonely journey as it is, so that
Yeah.
if you're able, like us, if we're able to help share our stories, we can help other people who are going through it.
Hmm.
I think that's a big
Mm-hmm.
thing
Hmm.
for us. We want to help people, right? And I know that is for
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you as well.
it's so huge to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It's so
Brian,
huge to
you
me.
have a gift. Your voice is so melodic. Like you could do audiobooks. Like I'm just listening to it. I'm like,
Trust me,
this
that's
is so fun.
next.
I love it. You should do
That
it.
my wife gave me the idea, and I'm trying to find an inroad to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
the diary is one audiobook I'm going to do, but
I love it.
we're going to do a lot. Jody and I are going to do a lot more.
You're
You
amazing.
know, it's
She's
something.
amazing.
It's something. She kept saying, "I told you needed to do that," but didn't have the right equipment, didn't
Mm-hmm.
have the time. Now I do, and I'm researching it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going all in with it. I have to. If you don't give it your all, and I said this when I was working in Minnesota. If you don't have a sweaty shirt at the end of the day, you didn't put all your
Mm-hmm.
effort in. Because when I
Right.
worked at an amusement park in Minnesota, all my shirt would be soaked to the bone. It could be only 55 degrees outside and my shirt is soaked to the bone.
No way.
And that made me realize I'm putting in maximum effort.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you need
Right.
to. Even if your maximum effort is a fraction of what other people's are in this
Mm-hmm.
current state. That's okay.
It's fine.
Oh, right. And the
It's
thing I love about
fine.
you, Brian, is that you're a dreamer, but you don't just dream, you make it a reality and you keep pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
can say that they can do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fear played a part of it for the longest time.
Yeah,
I'm being
Mm-hmm.
totally honest. Fear played a part of it
Mm-hmm.
for the longest time. Not anymore.
we get that. Yeah,
Not
don't let
anymore.
it consume
Yeah.
you. We talk about this. Do
It's
not let fear consume you. Do not let it envelop you because you will not come through any illness, any hard time.
No.
I've always said at the end of my program, dream big, do bigger. I mean every word of that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean every single word of that. And a friend of mine showed me a sign once upon a time that says if your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough. Well, the dreams I have right now are frightening the piss out of me, but I don't care. I'm going after them, and I'm taking my family with me.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Right.
Brian, we are out of time here, but let everyone know where they can find you on your
YouTube
podcast and
youtube.com/snowman in the morning is where you can find all my segments. Slash at snowman in the morning. youtube.com/at snowman multimedia is where you can see the morning show live 5 days a week. And there's so much more to be there's so much more to be put together. And what I'm going to do for my YouTube channel is create an announcement that have all of my channels listed. So when you all go to Snowman Multimedia on YouTube, that's where you can find everything.
do you have a link tree? I'm finding that so helpful, putting all of
Mm-hmm.
your stuff in one place and then
I'll
everyone
have
can
it in an
find it.
hour.
Yeah, link tree.
I'm
Love
the
that.
moment you said that, my brain started turning at 100 miles an hour. I will have that within an hour.
Yeah, it's awesome. We like on ours, we have, we have a few partners that we're affiliated with, to give people discounts on
Mm-hmm.
stuff. You can listen to our links to our podcast on there and social media and everything like that. So I think it's a super important way to have everybody be able to find you in one place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
will
we
have
will,
that, and you guys will be one of the first to get it. But
yeah,
the woman who gets it first, I married her. So she wants to help it. She has been I can't gush about Jody enough. She has been such a big part of the mission, and it's become a mission.
love it.
As my friend at home says, it's now become a ministry.
Totally. She's your wife-ager.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Amazing.
Right.
Well, I love
She's
the support.
she's it for me. The ones who understand when I say it like this, and I have such emotion in my eyes and on my face. She's it for me.
Hmm.
She's it for me.
I love that.
I wouldn't
We're-
have it any other way.
We're so happy you have
Mhm.
the support. We are so happy you have the outlets. We are incredibly thankful that you came on our show today, even with the nonsense that happened midway through. So I'm so sorry
Right?
that you had to experience it with
Man, you
us.
ain't gotta
but-
feel sorry for them.
Oh, we do.
Feel sorry. You ain't gotta
Mhm.
feel sorry for the not. Feel sorry for them.
Mhm.
Okay. Lewis Black said the most ridiculous thing you can utter is "bring it on." So bring it on. Bring it on.
Mhm.
Give it the way we feel right now. And what we're fighting and have fought and what. Bring it on, man.
Speak to yourself because I'd like it to go away.
This guy's too much for me.
Well, as always, everyone listening, we thank you so much for being here. Like, subscribe,
Mhm.
follow Two Girls with Cancer on all of the main platforms. And of course, go follow Brian, who is going to have a Linktree within an hour, and I will be posting it all over our
Yep.
pages. So
You better believe it.
thank you again, Brian. You're amazing, and we wish you just health and happiness.
I appreciate you guys. I love you guys very, very much. I love the folks
love
in
you.
the chat for
Love you.
interacting with us. I love you
Mhm.
guys. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you. That was awesome, Ash. I'm so happy that we were
Right?
able to have Brian here with us today. Like I'm just so thankful for people that we've met along the way who know what we're going through and are vocal about what they're going through. And
Mhm.
yeah, I'm just thankful for these kind of
Right?
experiences. And all nonsense aside, I'm I'm so happy with what we're doing with our podcasting and everything. And I'm thankful for you as well.
And as you. We have something that
Right.
we can just share with everyone, right? So it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it for today. Check us out. I don't know. Well, tomorrow I'm posting. I don't even know how this is going to work. I didn't know it was live. So
I didn't either.
probably you'll see this one again.
Mhm.
But yeah, we have another episode coming out on wigs right away. You know, because I wear them.
Mhm.
I'm a pro at them. So
And they were
we have an
fun.
episode coming out on wig. Yeah, they were so much fun. And
Right?
yeah, check that out on all of our socials and all of our podcast platforms. Have a good night or good day or whatever time zone it is. Bye.